Fighters Corner put out another good video. What do boxers actually really think of Jake Paul? I'm actually interested to see what they have to say, because my opinion is that Jake Paul isn't a professional boxer, but that's just me. Let's see what these guys have to say.
Tyson versus Jake Paul. And then if Mike Tyson hits him, it's over.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson, 58. What is that good for boxing? Fighting a Jake Paul who's obviously in late 20s.
Look, man, I've always been a critic of Jake Paul and having him fight real fighters and boxers. But fighting a fighter that hasn't been fighting over 20 years, like Mike Tyson, he got beat 20 years ago.
As Jake Paul is getting ready to take on Mike Tyson.
20 years ago, that's a long time. Also, I think this is an AI voice, but it doesn't matter. This is a good channel. If you haven't subscribed to them already, do so now.
Boxing pros have revealed what they really think of Paul as a fighter. While Gervonta Davis hasn't shared his perspective on the upcoming Tyson versus Paul fight, in a previous interview, he emphatically brushed aside any notion of Jake Paul outmatching him. In a prospective boxing showdown, a fan discussion on X proposed an intriguing scenario: Jake Paul pitted against the formidable Gervonta Davis. In the post, the fan boldly asserted that Paul could present a formidable challenge to Davis and potentially emerge victorious in a closely contested bout. Davis did not take the post lightly and responded saying, "Shut the f*** up." In a major move, Canelo Alvarez has previously teased the possibility of facing Jake Paul in the ring post-retirement, igniting excitement across the sports landscape. He stated in an interview with Full Send, "When I'm done with boxing, why not? Maybe I will do it. Why not? I think it's good because other people who never watch boxing don't know anything about boxing." Canelo.
That's right, because honestly, I'm not a guy that watches a lot of boxing, but all of a sudden I'm watching all these videos about boxing and what people really think about it. And apparently boxing is a dying art. So is he bringing back a dying sport? Maybe he is. That's one of the reasons Mike Tyson is actually doing this, from what I understand.
Shared his willingness to explore the concept, hinting at its potential as a fascinating endeavor post his boxing tenure. He added, "They want to watch Jake Paul because he brings fans from other worlds, not boxing fans. That's good because everybody enjoys it. What they do, I think they do for business, and you need to respect that."
That's
Following
right.
the interview, Jake took to his Instagram to share a narrative. Jake Paul shared the interview and captioned it, "Manifestation is real. When I called Canelo out 2 years ago, everyone laughed at me. Now he sees the vision and the power. It will happen." However, former UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman vehemently opposes the notion of Paul stepping into the boxing ring with Mike Tyson, fearing it would tarnish Paul's reputation irreparably. He said, "Uncle Mike wants to do it. Uncle Mike definitely can do it, and we know like he can. He can still punch, he can still box. But for Jake Paul, a guy that says he wants to be taken seriously, he wants to fight Canelo, he wants to fight the best in boxing. This is not the way to do it." Usman reached the realization that, irrespective of the result, the upcoming bout posed a double-edged dilemma for Paul.
I understand wanting to be famous, and I understand building yourself, and I understand wanting to be a boxer as well, and being a professional. But at some point, someone has to be guiding this kid's career.
Winning against the 50.
Look, you can't call yourself a professional just because you're fighting pros. Like, this guy's, they've got 30 years almost difference. I don't know what the numbers are exactly, but these guys aren't even in the same category. And there's got to be some sort of health problem with taking hits at that age. I don't think Mike Tyson's going to give it all he's got against Jake Paul here. So this fight's probably going to be rigged, or it's going to be controlled. Who knows? But the fact is, pros respect the business side of this fight, but they don't respect him as a professional fighter. And I don't either.
57-year-old wouldn't earn him any recognition, while a defeat could inflict significant damage to his career, possibly beyond repair. He said, "There's guys that are youthful, that are in the rankings, that are still contenders, that you can fight, but you choose to bypass those guys because you want a big name. So this is a lose-lose for Jake Paul. If I was the one advising you, I would advise against this." On the other hand, Rolly Romero didn't hold back his thoughts on Jake Paul. Expressing his genuine perspective, he envisioned a promising path ahead for the problem child within the realm of the sport. He said, "I'm going to support anything Jake Paul does because Jake Paul's good for the sport. He's bringing so many viewers to the sport, and it's good." In this context, on being asked what he thought of Jake Paul trying to get himself ranked with his upcoming bout, Rolly boldly added, "I can see Jake Paul fighting for a world title and even winning a world title." Moreover,
Really?
Speaking of Canelo versus Jake, Romero said, "I think that fight would be good for boxing. Canelo is one of the pound-for-pound greatest fighters of all time. But I want to see that. Just the lead up is going to be great. That'd be great. and it will bring so many viewers to boxing. On the flip side, Shakur Stevenson believes that Jake Paul is a ticking time bomb for a devastating knockout, poised to unleash his ferocity in the ring. On the platform X, Stevenson criticized Paul as being reckless as hell, suggesting that Paul's victory fails to conceal his shortcomings as a fighter. He wrote, "Dude, reckless as hell. When he stepped up to the competition, he better correct that cause. I could see a nasty KO with the right person." In addition, MMA combatants are seizing the digital stage to ridicule Paul's attire and his performance, asserting their own dominance online. PFL MMA middleweight and former UFC fighter Derek Brunson said on X, "I'd cook you." Meanwhile, we know that Mike Tyson has been sharing his training.
The thing is, if Jake Paul loses versus Mike Tyson here, his career, is it over? Like, can he come back? Or, oh, you lost to a Mike Tyson. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, taking on these fights is risky for your career if you want to eventually win a world title.
Videos warning Jake Paul ahead of their fight. Can Tyson's resurgence reshape the annals of history, or will Paul etch his own indelible mark on the legacy of combat sports?
This guy's got like 4-inch padding. He's still getting hurt.
Evander Holyfield, the enduring adversary of Tyson and a revered figure in the boxing world, expressed his heartfelt reaction through a poignant holding back tears emoji. His emotions encapsulated a blend of wistful reminiscence and genuine admiration for Mike. Meanwhile, Regis Prograis favored Paul when he fought Nate Diaz. At that time, he said, "Size-wise, Jake Paul is so much bigger. He's naturally a 200-pound person. If they were the same size, even if Jake Paul had maybe 10 pounds on him, I would give it all to Nate Diaz. If they were the same size, I would give it to Nate Diaz, but the size difference is huge. That's a big, big difference." Moreover, he further added, "So I would lean towards Jake Paul just because of the size. It's really too big. If they were the same size, Nate Diaz all the way. I think Nate would probably stop him if they were the same size." Remember we talked about Sergio Mora earlier in this video? Well, he has more to say. So talking about the Paul versus Tyson fight, he said, "If there's no headgear, I think Mike gets beat up where they probably stop the fight." It's not only Mora voicing worry for Mike. Aries Spears, a well-known American stand-up comedian, has also expressed similar concern. A blend of admiration and worry fills Aries Spears' voice as he delves into Mike Tyson's impending showdown with Jake Paul. Mike still got the power, and he still has the speed, he concedes, reminiscing on Tyson's legendary status in the boxing realm. Doubt clouds Tyson's confidence, fueled by his perception of age and Jake Paul's ever-improving skill set. Paul, having honed his technique considerably, presents a formidable challenge that Tyson finds hard to ignore. Spears added, "I want to see Jake Paul get his ass whooped too, but my big..."
Yeah, me too. I want to see his ass get whooped. I want to see him fall down hard, but at the same time, I understand he's bringing in a lot of new people to the sport. Doesn't, with age, your reflex also, take a hit? Like your agility, your reaction time is slower. That's gonna affect Mike Tyson for sure.
Biggest fear is that Mike doesn't have the endurance. UFC veteran Chael Sonnen has openly criticized this potential matchup, labeling it as a disastrous choice for Paul's career trajectory. The American Gangster's latest YouTube video explained how the problem child is in a double lose situation due to this decision.
In 1 week, the story has changed. In 1 week, this went to Jake Paul falling back to his old habits of wanting to beat up a geriatric and get credit for it. And we let him know, if you beat up said geriatric, not only do you not get credit, we're going to be mad at you because we all like Mike Tyson.
Sonnen, expressing his views, predicted that regardless of the outcome of the highly anticipated
Just fight.
Paul versus Tyson bout, fans would harbor animosity towards Paul for his role in coaxing Tyson out of retirement. He said, "We let Paul know that if you beat up Mike Tyson, now you'll not get credit. Cause we like Mike Tyson. You're in a double lose situation. You lose, we're all out and tease you and tell you, you're terrible. You win, we hate you because we like him." Paul is no stranger to criticism, but selecting a competitor 3 decades his senior doesn't exactly earn him accolades. Weathering a barrage of criticism is only...
Mike Tyson just wants to fight, man. And Jake Paul's just like, okay, let's go, bro. Like, the media is going to go left and right on it, and I'm just anxious to see who they're going to give the dub to. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a tie at the end.
The only recourse is to strive for victory, bolstering his overall track record. Yet, securing a win won't be a walk in the park for Paul. However, Sonnen further added,
"It's a story. Jake had to deal with it. Mike can't be in there. Start hearing these stories that Mike has been seen with a walker. Start hearing about it. The marijuana that Mike uses is largely medicinal, not just for his mindset. Like he tells you, his body hurts, it aches.
For sure.
And
My
then
body hurts and aches, and I'm 30.
All in a a week, by the way, we get released the training footage of Mike. Man, he doesn't look that bad.
Experienced MMA guru Rafael Cordero isn't holding back when it comes to his thoughts on Jake Paul's forthcoming showdown with Mike Tyson. Renowned for his expertise in training Muay Thai contenders, at Shoot Box and King's MMA, Cordero predicts a harsh reality check for Paul come July 20th. Despite Paul's commendable 9-1 record, boasting 6 knockouts, Cordero firmly believes that the landscape shifts dramatically once Tyson enters the ring. Cordero said, "Mike has such heavy hands, and it will be impossible not to touch Jake. Jake will feel Mike's hands. There's no other way, and that's when we'll have an idea of how the fight will go. It's going to be interesting to see." He also believes that Paul will panic the moment he is hit. He stated, "Panic. He will panic. That's the goal. Our goal is to keep Jake in panic the entire fight, or for as long as he can take it." Moreover, Cordero has cautioned against presuming the impending bout will be a one-sided affair. He said, "It's going to be a very technical match because we have a kid on the other side who can box and isn't afraid." In another interview with MMA Fighting, Cordero simply said, "Jake will feel Mike's hands. There's no other way, and that's when we'll have an idea of how the fight will go." Moreover, speaking ahead of the fight, Paul revealed how surreal it felt, fighting one of boxing's biggest icons, saying, "It's crazy to think that in my second pro fight, I went viral for knocking out Nate Robinson on Mike Tyson's undercard. Now, less than 4 years later, I'm stepping up to face Tyson myself to see if I have what it takes to beat one of boxing's most notorious fighters."
At 58 years old.
Former world champion Sergio Mora raises concerns about the fairness of the match, emphasizing the glaring age difference and Tyson's prolonged absence from the sport. Is this bout merely a flashy spectacle or a legitimate sporting contest? Mora's comments highlight the concerns surrounding this unconventional fight. He said, "Man, I've always been a critic of Jake Paul and, having him fight real fighters and boxers. But fighting a fighter that hasn't fought in over 20 years of Mike Tyson, he got beat, 20 years ago, and he got knocked out in the last 2 fights." So
there's a lot of research in this video. Props to Fighters Corner. If you're not subscribed, I'll say it again, subscribe to their video. Normally I don't watch this kind of content, but because of Jake Paul, I'm finding myself watching all these videos and posting them on my own channel, which started as a gaming channel, and now we're moving on to like sports and MMA and all kinds of stuff like that. So really interesting. Channels like this really make it fun for me.
So at 57, 58 years old, come on, you're fighting a senior citizen, and it's not fair. Furthermore, Mora elaborates on the deceptive nature of Tyson's impressive but brief training clips, hinting at the potential disparity between online perception and real-world physicality. He added, "He can look like a beast, Mike Tyson, for like the 10-second clips that he posts on social media. Anyone could do it. I could look like a killer right now on the pads for 10 seconds. But as soon as he turns that camera off, I'm gonna be huffing and puffing and sore." Similarly, radio personality Charlemagne the God contended that even a victory for Paul over Mike wouldn't carry much weight. He said,
"I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Tyson injects himself with morphine and stuff before the fight and he's just like not feeling anything and just going in. And for sure he's got injuries. I'm 34 years old and I have a shoulder injury, a knee injury, and ankle injuries from playing hockey, soccer, and martial arts. So I know what it's like to play injured, and it's a choice you make. Your body will take a hit. His body's going to be affected by this fight. It's a decision that he made. But hey, you only live once, right?
"It ain't Brolic though. It's like old man Brolic. You say he still got it, but listen, Mike lost a lot of fights. He lost like 5 or 6 fights. It's still a 57-year-old man. If he beats Mike Tyson, I don't want him to see it like it's a thing." Despite Tyson's impressive display in his training videos, Charlemagne the God remained unconvinced about the prospect of a Paul versus Tyson bout. At this, Andrew Schultz added, "If Jake Paul does win, it's not that impressive." Without a doubt, Charlemagne concurred with Schultz's assertion. In this instance, Charlemagne referenced Floyd Mayweather, whose hat was pilfered by Paul in the year 2021. Therefore, Charlemagne said, "If you spar against Mayweather and you beat Mayweather, that's still something. Because Mayweather never lost a fight. Mayweather's still pretty active in the ring." Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia rallied behind his comrade and advocate, Mike Tyson, with whom he has shared the podcast stage on numerous occasions, fostering a strong bond. Reflecting on Tyson's colossal stature, Garcia emphasized the significance of Iron Mike in his response. Garcia mentioned, "I met Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is a huge bro. There's no way Jake Paul is taking this, bro. Enter Wayne, a skeptic who boldly proclaimed his doubt in Paul's ability to knock him out. Nevertheless, he threw his support behind the problem child, foreseeing a split decision triumph. Garcia stated, "Wayne, I want to see your live reaction when Jake Paul gets knocked out. I just wanted to see it, bro. Can you record?" Clearly, it seems futile to sway King Rye on the notion of Mike Tyson possibly succumbing to Jake Paul, at least within the confines of our current reality. Perhaps another factor influencing this stance is Garcia's ongoing conflict with Jake Paul. In addition, Garcia recently shared his thoughts on the fight in an X Space session.
I don't know what that fight is for. You know, at the end of the day, obviously it's for money. So it's a money fight. And it's a fight that, I don't know. It's up to you guys to take it serious or not.
It's a money fight.
That's all it is. It's entertainment. I understand that Mike is not a guy that he plays around. He's going to take it serious. We'll see what happens, you know. They'll probably make a lot of money, but as far as boxing, I mean...
Meanwhile, leading up to his eagerly awaited bout against Mike Tyson, Jake Paul engaged in some social media antics aimed at taunting the seasoned boxer. Paul took to his...
The world stops. When a fight like this comes up, it's like we forget about everything else and we're just focused on this fight. And it's part of their strategy, right? It's going to be an entertainment fight. It's not going to bring anybody's belts back or whatever. It's just for entertainment. And I think just because of that, we can't be looking at this too seriously, but we are because it's boxing. It's like, I don't know how to feel about this.
Instagram to showcase his latest facial artwork, mirroring the tattoo sported by Tyson. He then shared a clip featuring a man with a portion of his ear seemingly bitten off. To top it off, Paul concluded with an unconventional display, revealing himself with a faux ear nestled between his teeth.
That's funny. He's just messing around. He's baiting the internet.
In addition to this, Paul previously shared his thoughts on the fight. He added, "Within just 2.5 years of founding MVP, we're about to produce the biggest fight in history, a fight in the biggest NFL stadium in the US, broadcast live on the biggest streaming platform in the world, a testament to all we've accomplished.
It's gonna be on
such a
Netflix,
short
right?
amount of time." Ever since the news broke, estimates of the speculated fight earnings have been circulating, igniting a whirlwind of online conjecture. Adding fuel to the fire, a revered UFC icon recently hinted at the potential windfall awaiting Tyson from the bout. MMA stalwart Henry Cejudo, joined by his co-host and fellow mixed martial arts icon Kamaru Usman, raised doubts about Paul's choice to battle someone 3 decades his senior on their latest podcast. They emphasized that the tempting financial incentives make it difficult to resist. Cejudo said, "I mean, you know what I respect, Uncle Mike, but it obviously takes 2 to tango. I feel like there is probably a really good payday for Mike. He's probably going to wind up making close to 20 mil, and he's about to turn 58 years old." In addition, Henry Cejudo made a bold estimation, suggesting that Tyson's compensation
What you gonna do with all that money?
could easily surpass $20 million. Cejudo attributed this to Tyson's legendary status and his advanced age. However, Josh Thompson holds a differing perspective on the matter. He said, "It's a respect thing. Learn how to respect the people that came before you, and this is just blatant disrespect. And the fact that Mike was just entertained this, I want to know why. I don't understand why. I mean, like, I don't think it's a money thing. I don't think it's that, you know, but why? I don't get it. There's nothing to gain from this." Thompson finds himself perplexed by Tyson's decision to proceed with it. Maybe the notion that it's purely for financial gain isn't far off the mark. With his substantial legacy already established, taking on Jake Paul promises significant opportunities. But at what cost? Tyson's intense preparation suggests he's treating this bout as if it holds the weight of the entire world. Cejudo emphasized the seriousness with which Tyson...
He's got a joint in his mouth. Doesn't he have his own weed line where he sells weed? I've never tried it, but you know, it's his body's got to be aching, man.
Approached his training, highlighting it as the epitome of commitment and discipline. He said, "Kamaru, like this dude's disciplined dude. He's almost like us, you know. He gets moody when he's in fight camp. He stops smoking or he doesn't smoke as much as you know. He starts to eat clean. He runs every day at 5 in the morning." Daniel Cormier contends that Jake Paul has little to gain from defeating Mike Tyson. He expresses skepticism about Tyson's forthcoming match with
Marcelo Ferreira, thank you for the sub.
Paul.
Somebody was like, "Would you wrestle Kyle Snyder for charity?" I'm like, no. He's going to beat the brakes off of me. He won't like He won't like play with me. He won't give me anything to make me
Yeah,
feel
you
good
know,
about this.
let's
He's gonna beat
mix
the
it up a little bit.
Cormier suggests that if Paul were to emerge victorious against the experienced Tyson, it might adversely affect Tyson's rapport with his fans. He said, Mike Tyson's going to be in there at almost 60. Bro, he's almost 15 years older than me almost. Can you just beat on Mike Tyson? Paul could face devastating consequences if he chooses to engage in a physical altercation with Mike Tyson. Regardless of the outcome, he finds himself trapped in a lose-lose scenario. Cormier also questioned Paul's reasoning, implying that he may not have thoroughly contemplated the consequences. He noted that should Paul manage a definitive victory over Tyson, the public's response could be predominantly negative. Furthermore, he pointed out that an emphatic knockout by Paul could signify the conclusion of something momentous. Cormier added, I don't know that he thought this one through as much as he probably should have. If you just go out there and you just beat the shit out of Mike Tyson, everybody's going to be really mad at you. If he knocks Mike out, if he just starches Mike Tyson, it might be over, bro. Conversely, promoter Oscar De La Hoya is conflicted about the forthcoming boxing match featuring Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
You say
It's going to be a controlled match.
you want to be a world champion. You say you want to take this sport serious. Then take it serious.
While De La Hoya recognizes the benefit of drawing a wider audience to boxing,
That's
he is
true,
apprehensive
though.
about the appearance of a fight between Paul and Tyson, especially considering Tyson hasn't fought in 19 years since 2005. De La Hoya said, it's going to bring more eyeballs to the sport of boxing, but my beef with it is, it's not the right image for us as
Not
a serious
serious at
sport.
all.
De La Hoya holds the opinion that Jake has the youthful energy and stamina required to surpass Tyson and secure a win, assuming the Texas Commission sanctions the fight as a legitimate boxing match. He added, Jake Paul, I commend him for what he's doing. Jake Paul can get to a world title, but if he takes a different route, this route, going up against Mike Tyson, it's just not the right one for me.
That's
I love
right.
Mike Tyson and respect Mike Tyson, especially if Texas okays this fight to be an officially sanctioned right. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos.
Damn right. This was a great video. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I'm Joey. Peace out, boys.